You will never live free until you stop fearing pain. That's the truth. The day you learn to act as if nothing and nobody can hurt you is the day you become untouchable. Emotionally, mentally, spiritually. No one controls a person who controls their response to pain. Comment, "I'm untouchable," if you're ready to take back control. You've been trained to flinch, you've been trained to react, and worst of all, you've been trained to need approval. But power doesn't come from being liked. It comes from being unshaken. Your power starts when you stop begging for peace from people who enjoy watching you bleed. Let this be the year you stop explaining yourself. You stop chasing apologies. You stop waiting for people to treat you right. And instead, you rise. You build a mind so sharp, so focused, so rooted in discipline that no insult, rejection, betrayal, or silence can pierce it. You've been too emotionally available to things that don't deserve your energy. Learn to withdraw without becoming cold. Learn to distance without becoming bitter. Strength is not closing your heart. It's protecting it with wisdom and calm detachment. The person who wins in this life is not the one who feels the least. It's the one who controls what they feel. And if you let the outside world dictate your inside world, you will always be a prisoner in your own body. Stop living like a victim of people's bad behavior. You don't need revenge. You need emotional self-control. Because when you act as if nothing can hurt you, people don't know what to do with you. And that's the point. That's how you reclaim your power. Pain is real, but your reaction is a choice. The weak crumble at the first sign of disrespect. The strong, they use it as fuel. They learn to walk through the fire, not cry about the heat. You must decide what kind of person you're going to be, reactive or bulletproof. They will test you. Life will push you. People will disappoint you. But none of that can touch a disciplined mind, the mind that says, "You don't get to decide how I feel, I do." That's power. That's the foundation of an unbreakable life. Learn to smile when they expect you to shatter. Learn to grow in silence while they hope you fail. There is nothing more terrifying to your enemies than your indifference. Not your anger, not your tears, your silence, your peace, your refusal to react. That is your domination. The people who hurt you aren't stronger than you. They're just louder, more dramatic, more manipulative. That's not strength. That's desperation. True strength is self-contained. It doesn't perform. It doesn't need an audience. It moves quietly and destroys without announcement. You don't rise by proving anything to anyone. You rise by becoming immune, immune to disrespect, immune to manipulation, immune to chaos. You rise by outgrowing the patterns that once triggered you. And every time you ignore something that once disturbed your spirit, you evolve. This is the secret. Power is quiet. Power is calm. Power is presence without apology. And once you learn to act as if nothing and nobody can hurt you, you stop playing games meant for the emotionally weak. You become something else entirely, untouchable. You were not born to be emotionally fragile. Somewhere along the way, you forgot who you were. They broke you with words, silence, rejection, and you started believing you were breakable. But you're not. You are not here to react. You are here to rule over your own spirit. The strongest person in any room is not the loudest. It's the one who needs nothing, not attention, not sympathy, not validation. That kind of person is a storm in human form. They don't chase peace, they become it, and that's what you're being called to do now. Stop explaining yourself. Stop defending your decisions. Stop apologizing for outgrowing people who only knew how to manipulate your softness. There's no award for being endlessly available to people who drain your soul. That's not love. That's self-abandonment. Every time you stay silent when you used to shout, every time you walk away when you used to chase, every time you smile when you used to break, you are becoming dangerous. Not to others, but to your former self, to the version of you that was ruled by emotion instead of mission. Detach from their chaos, their drama, their confusion. It's not your job to fix broken people who enjoy being broken. Your job is to master yourself so fully that nothing outside of you can control the inside of you. That is the highest form of freedom. And make no mistake, when you walk like nothing can hurt you, they'll try harder, but it won't matter. Because your silence, your focus, your discipline, those are the weapons, and they're stronger than anything they'll ever say or do. You don't rise by proving your strength. You rise by becoming so composed, so grounded, that chaos loses interest. Drama can't find a grip. The enemy can't provoke you. Why? Because you've mastered the art of not reacting. You've mastered you. The enemy's weapon is always distraction. They want you emotional, reactive, off course, because the moment you react, they win. But when you don't respond, when you don't flinch, when you keep moving like nothing happened, they lose every ounce of power they thought they had. Understand this. Your focus is your fortune. And every time you allow someone's pettiness to disturb it, you hand them your crown. You hand them your peace. Stop doing that. Stop giving away your throne to people who couldn't survive 5 minutes in your mind. You don't need closure. You need clarity. You don't need a conversation. You need conviction. Most people look for healing in other people's hands. No healing begins when you look in the mirror and say, "This ends with me." That's the day your life changes. And yes, it will be lonely. Acting as if nothing and nobody can hurt you isn't the path of the many. It's the walk of the rare. But the higher you go, the quieter it gets. And that silence, that's peace. That's control. That's elevation. They can try to provoke you, betray you, abandon you. But when you master your response, they become powerless and you become unstoppable, emotionally invincible, spiritually lethal. And nothing, absolutely nothing, is more dangerous than a person who has nothing left to lose and everything left to build. The reason they keep testing you is because they still believe they can control you. Prove them wrong. Not with words, but with distance, with discipline, with the power to walk away without looking back. That's not coldness. That's growth. Don't argue with fools. Don't explain your value to people committed to misunderstanding you. Learn to move in silence. Learn to disappear from chaos without warning. That's how warriors live. Not in noise, but in precision. You don't have time to convince anyone who you are. Just be it. People fear what they can't manipulate. When you no longer react to their bait, they panic. They double down. But hold your ground. Let them scream into silence. Let them drown in their own drama, because when you rise above it, you win without fighting. Train your mind to be your shield. Pain will come. Betrayal will come. But how you process it, that's your domain. Most people bleed all over everyone because they never learned to heal privately. Don't be that person. Let your scars be sacred. Let your wounds birth wisdom. This is how you take your life back, through control. Not of others, of yourself. You become lethal. Not when you fight harder, but when you stop fighting battles beneath you. Your reaction is the proof of your rank. Act like a king. Think like a queen. Carry yourself like someone who already won. Let them talk. Let them assume. Let them misunderstand. You're not here to fix anyone's perception. You're here to master your mission, and if they can't reach you emotionally, they can't reach you at all. That is the power of being untouchable. Most people are slaves to their emotions. They explode when disrespected, collapse when ignored, break when abandoned. That's not power. That's vulnerability disguised as passion. If you want to lead your life, you must first lead your emotions. Master your inner state or be ruled by it forever. They will weaponize your kindness, twist your silence, mock your peace. Let them. Your job is not to prove your worth. It's to protect it. You don't need louder comebacks. You need quieter standards, higher standards, standards that tell the world. You don't get access just because you want attention. People will always try to break what they don't understand. But here's the truth. You were never fragile. You were just untrained. And now you're becoming forged, tempered, hardened in the fire of your own awareness. This isn't about being emotionless. It's about being unshakable. Discipline your nervous system. Control your breathing. Slow down your thoughts. This is how you build that untouchable energy. Not by pretending nothing bothers you, but by owning that even when it does, it won't control you. Pain might visit, but it never stays. You're the landlord now. The world doesn't care about your emotions. It responds to your execution. And if you want to live at the top, you must act like you belong there. Let your calm become your credibility. Let your presence speak before your mouth ever does. That's real confidence, the kind you don't need to announce. You were not built to break. You were built to outlast. And the moment you act like nothing and nobody can hurt you, the world stops seeing you as a victim and starts seeing you as a force, a presence, a standard. That's the real switch. When you act as if nothing can hurt you, you're not being fake. You're being focused. You're building a mind that no longer negotiates with pain, a spirit that doesn't shake every time the world throws a stone. You're not avoiding reality. You're rewriting your response to it. Because here's the truth. Pain isn't the problem. Your attachment to it is. The replaying, the overthinking, the meaning you assign. Learn to feel and release. Learn to observe without absorbing. Your emotions are signals, not chains. Stop letting temporary feelings create permanent setbacks. There is a version of you that doesn't flinch, that doesn't chase closure, that doesn't shrink when abandoned. That version is already inside you, waiting, watching, demanding the old version of you finally steps aside. This is that moment, not tomorrow, now. People respect what they can't move. That's why silence is more powerful than defense, why indifference is more potent than revenge. You don't need to fight for peace. You need to walk in such peace that chaos avoids you out of fear. Your calm becomes your weapon. You can't control how they treat you, but you can control what you tolerate, what you accept, what you allow in your space. Set the standard, enforce it with action. The person who dares to walk away from anything that disturbs their spirit, that's the real threat. You owe it to yourself to become so emotionally solid that no apology, no explanation, no validation is needed. Just your presence, just your progress, just your peace. That's the mindset that dominates. That's the energy that builds empires. Emotional control is not weakness. It's warriorship. It means you've stopped letting life punch you without fighting back, but your fight isn't rage. It's stillness. Your power isn't loud. It's locked in your eyes, your breath, your posture, unbothered, unbreakable. You must stop asking the world to stop hurting you. That request will never be answered. You must train yourself to stop giving pain a throne. Pain will knock, it will enter, but you do not have to hand it the keys. You do not have to let it rule. You've spent too long begging for decency, for loyalty, for peace, from people who profit from your weakness. No more. This chapter of your life is about immunity. Immunity to noise, to games, to anything that doesn't align with your inner command. When you act as if nobody and nothing can hurt you, you activate a power that terrifies people who depend on your reactions. They will call you cold, arrogant, detached. Let them. That's just what power looks like to those who've never had it. You are becoming the person who doesn't ask for permission to heal, who doesn't need closure to grow, who doesn't wait for life to be easy to take action. You are becoming the one who moves forward regardless, no matter the pain, no matter the noise. If you've made it this far, drop a 100 in the comments. It shows you are part of the 1% that's improving every single day. Now, let's go deeper. We're just getting started. Stop talking about what they did to you. Start building who you are becoming. Every second you stay stuck in the past is a second you abandon the future. You must choose. Do you want their apology or do you want your power back? Every time you rehearse the wound, you reopen it. You bleed your strength into old stories. Let it end. Let the chapter close without clarity. Not everything broken needs to be understood. Sometimes your silence is your healing. Sometimes the unanswered question is the answer. The people who once shook you will lose their grip, not because they changed, but because you did. Your new self is no longer available to the old storm. You don't fear their absence. You don't chase their validation. You walk like peace is your only currency. Master this. Self-respect is louder than any comeback. The moment you stop needing to respond is the moment you rise. Let them talk. Let them wonder. Your progress will scream everything you never said. The highest revenge is discipline. Pain may still whisper, but it won't dominate. In fact, pain will try to follow you, but it can't breathe at your new altitude. You've climbed above it, and what once triggered tears now triggers silence, growth, power, precision. You're not becoming hard. You're becoming wise. You're not bitter. You're building boundaries, and you don't need to explain them to anyone who never valued your softness in the first place. You can't be untouchable if you're still addicted to approval. If your confidence rises and falls based on who texts back, who claps for you, who sees your worth, you are still bound. Cut the cord. Reclaim your center. Learn to be proud without praise, secure without applause, peaceful without presence. This is the highest level, internal validation, where your energy no longer fluctuates based on what others do or don't do. You wake up powerful because you decided to start telling yourself the truth. Some people liked you better broken, easier to control, quieter, more fragile. Now you've healed, and they're uncomfortable. Let them be. You weren't made to stay small, to fit their comfort zone. This new version of you is intimidating, and that's okay. You're not here to be palatable. You're here to be powerful, to be so self-anchored that not even betrayal can move you. You acknowledge it, you feel it, and then you move anyway. Stop flinching, stop explaining, stop giving discounts on your energy. You are not for everyone, and you shouldn't want to be. Power is polarizing. Strength triggers weakness. Keep rising. You are now the version of yourself you used to need. Protect that person. Guard them with boundaries, habits, and silence. You didn't fight this hard to become strong just to fall back into softness for the wrong people. You must stop making room for people who shrink your strength. Just because they knew the old you doesn't mean they deserve access to the new you. This version is earned, and not everyone qualifies. Every time you lower your standard to accommodate the past, you delay your future. That old version of you, the one who tolerated disrespect, who stayed silent, who hoped people would change, let them die, bury them and honor them by never going back. This is how you become dangerous. When your energy no longer bends for validation. When your presence alone speaks so loud that even your silence sounds like power. That's when you stop chasing and start attracting. They won't recognize you anymore, and that's the goal, because the healed you has a different voice, a different energy, a different stride. Let them wonder where the old you went. Let them choke on your progress. You're no longer proving. You're moving, quietly, efficiently, with ruthless focus, no reaction, no distraction, just momentum. And the ones who underestimated you, don't even look back. Their opinions died in the version of you that no longer exists. When you act like nobody can hurt you, you don't stop feeling. You start filtering. You decide what deserves your energy and what doesn't. You learn that not every battle requires your sword. Some only require your silence. Not everything broken needs fixing. Not every door needs to be reopened. Some things fall apart so you can finally see the truth, that your peace was never supposed to be shared with people who weaponize your kindness. You don't owe anyone your softness, especially not those who fed off your weakness. Your energy is a currency now. You spend it where it grows, where it returns, where it's safe. The next level of your life requires fewer words, fewer people, fewer reactions. This isn't arrogance. This is alignment. You're tuning your life to the frequency of peace, clarity, and power. People will accuse you of changing. Let them. The ones who loved your pain won't celebrate your healing, but your silence will teach them more than your words ever could. You've become the storm they never saw coming, calm on the outside, but unstoppable within. You are now in full control, not of life, but of how you respond to it. That's where real power lives, in restraint, in discipline, in the refusal to let emotion sabotage mission. Revenge is not your goal. Mastery is. Peace is dominance. Over your lower self is, every time you hold your tongue, every time you choose silence over chaos, you're rewriting your legacy. You no longer react to disrespect because your vision is too big. Your time is too sacred. You don't lose your temper anymore. You lose interest. You don't chase closure. You create distance. Let them misjudge you. Let them misunderstand. You don't live to be understood, you live to be unshakable. And when the world finally realizes they can't disturb your spirit, they'll stop trying. This is the new standard. High focus, low emotion, full control. You are not just surviving anymore, you're building, evolving, dominating. And you've done it quietly, which means it's permanent. There's nothing more dangerous than a person who is healed in silence, who's rebuilt in solitude, who no longer fears being alone because they've met the version of themselves that doesn't break. You are that person now, the one who doesn't flinch at betrayal, who doesn't spiral at rejection, who doesn't fear being left behind because you've learned peace is better than proximity. You've become the kind of power people can feel, not because you're loud, but because you're anchored, grounded, calm in chaos, unmoved by nonsense, a threat to anything that requires your weakness to survive. From this day forward, act like nothing and nobody can hurt you. Not because you're numb, but because you're ready, because you've trained for this, because you've risen above everything designed to break you. The world belongs to the emotionally disciplined, to the focused, to the ones who respond with strategy, not screams. You are one of them now. If you're still here, drop a 100 in the comments. It shows you're not average. You're rising, you're focused, you're part of the 1% building a legacy of unstoppable strength.